welcome to this edition of the Big Blue in the Bronx podcast. Alex Ivers published back again. I'm so happy today. The Yankees finally moved on after a rocky last night game. Can't wait to talk about it. Unfortunately, we have to talk about the Giants in the preview for Sunday's game. But thank God we get to talk about the Yankees first. So let's recap Game 1 real quick. Obviously, if you guys don't know the headlines, Yankees moved on, and they're going to verse the Rays on Monday as part of the ALDS. So Game 1, Garrett Cole, dominant. There's no other way to put it. Dominant start. 7 innings pitched, 6 hits, 2 earned runs, 13 Ks and 1 strikeout, 105 pitches. Excellent job by him. Obviously, the ratings were on and off between that. I think the other NBA games, if there were any, and also the presidential debate. And you had the offensive production too. The score was 12-3. Gardner homered, Judge homered, Gleyber homered, Stanton homered. It was 4 abysmal at-bats for Stanton, and he finally goes yard. That was the top of the ninth. But, one player I was impressed with for the Indians was Jordan Naylor. I didn't even know who this guy was until he stepped on the field and, hit 7-14 in 2 games against the Yankees. Now, obviously, that would even out if it was in the regular season, but it was 2 games, so obviously the average is much bigger than it is. But definitely Luke Voit contributed as well. Giovanni Urshela hit his sac fly in the 7th, Torres another single, RBI, and Gardner even homered, as I mentioned before. Great job by him. He totally wants to stick around as a Yankee for the rest of his career, and he's trying to make the case right now. And a lot of people were saying, oh, why would you start, Gardner over Frazier? Well, he did good that night. He did good. I must say that. And I'm very happy to at least, be saying that, something positive. Kyle Higashioka was catching. He did make one error, but obviously Gleyber juked the runner going to second, which meant that, he faked him out, which means that the runner was like, oh, you caught it? You know what? I'm going to stay at second. But, I may have a little shortage of words for this recap for Game 1, but there's definitely a lot to talk about in Game 2. Obviously, Luis Cessa gave up a run. He had to, but, it was 12-3. I was happy with it. We still won the game. Still got to play New York at the end. Game 2, up and down. That's definitely a word to describe it. So, for a little bit, they were talking, put the tarp on the field, blah, 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 rain delay. Then first pitch at 7:50, or before that was a rain delay again. So basically, in my opinion, I don't know why they would have started. Now, I would say this even if they lost, even if they won. I don't know why they would start the game, just to play like 1 inning, half inning, really. And then Tanaka throws like 2 pitches. Yep. Pack it in, boys. We got a rain delay here. So that was interesting. But Tanaka definitely spurred some bad things from it. Jose Ramirez hit an RBI double. That was actually before the rain delay. Chad Green came in after him. But as far as Tanaka goes, he gave up about 4 runs in the first. Then Stanton capitalized in the top of the second, hit a homer to right field, got the Yankees back up there. And then in the 4th inning, Giovanni Urshela, he hit a grand slam. Then Stanton hit another sac fly. That's a run scored. Then a Ramirez double again. Hernandez and Lindor scored, so that tied the game. Then Sanchez hit a 2-run home run. My energy was through the roof. I was screaming at the TV. And then you had Jordan Luplow, who pinch hit for Jordan Naylor. That's his name. I might be screwing up a little bit here. But when they pitch hit for Naylor, I'm like, what the hell are they doing? What is Sandy Alomar doing? And he made it look like a genius move because they put in Jonathan Loaizaga, okay? And he gave up a 2-run double. I think it was actually a triple. No, it was a 2-run double. And they stuck with him. And then, an inning later, a Cesar Hernandez single to center. And all of a sudden, it's 9-8 Indians. So I'm like, you know what? We got to get this shit going again in the 9th. So 9th inning, bases were loaded. Sanchez hits a sac fly. Run comes in. I said, okay, we'll take it. Started clapping. Mind you, this is 1 a.m, and I have school the next day. Luckily, I didn't have that many Zoom meetings, but I still got work to do anyway. And then LeMahieu comes up, and he singles to shallow center. Urshela scored either way, everyone's calling, oh, he scored on the air. Well, he would have scored even, I'm pretty sure the center fielder was Franmil Reyes. Even if he didn't slide and, fumble the ball, he would have scored. So, I do have some questions, though, as far as Aaron Boone. People are going to be like, oh, why are you questioning Aaron Boone? Why in the name of God you're complaining about him, and he won that game. You know what? Let's talk about the questions first. Number one, why would you take out Luke Voigt at 8'6"? I'm pretty sure it was 8'6". If it wasn't, please correct me. I'm pretty sure it was 6'4" or 8'6". It was a 2-run deficit. That's what I remember. They took him out and put Tyler Wade in. Then they put, I believe, Mike Ford in just to play first. Then they took him out maybe, or I don't know. I think Ford stayed in for the rest of the game, but while Tyler Wade was in the game, LeMahieu was at second, moved to first, back to second. So I don't know why you would take Luke Voigt out in that situation. Judge didn't have a good day yesterday, but that's, not a point. Frazier in, I believe it was the 8th or the 9th. I'm pretty sure it was the 9th. Not too sure. He struck out. He didn't have his mask on. That's why I considered it a bad luck charm. He didn't have his mask on, so he struck out. Nothing political or anything, that's not even the point. But my point is, he's always had that mask on. He did well this year, and now he doesn't wear the mask, and against his former team, he wants to get revenge. Doesn't happen. I don't know why you would bring Jonathan Loaisiga in. It just seemed really weird because, Chad Green obviously gave up his fair share of runs as well. We'll run through the stats in a minute. But whether you're going to have a game 3 or whether you're going to pitch against the Rays on Monday, you need that rest. But my point is, Loaisiga, he sucks in my opinion, but if you're Aaron Boone and you praise the hell out of him, he's a long reliever. So why are you pitching him in a game where you just need one inning out of your main bullpen guys and your setup guys? Ottavino could have came in, but they obviously thought that he couldn't get the job done, so they never put him in at all. Chapman came in the 8th, actually got the win because the Yankees took back the lead in the 9th. It was Britton before that. Actually, no, it was Loaisiga. Then it was Britton before him. And then it was Green before him. So it was a little mixture of everything. But my point is, why would you put in Green and Loaisiga? At that point, I believe you have the lead. And, again, one inning out of everybody. And I get it. Tanaka didn't do good at all. He pitched only 4 innings. So, it just didn't make a lot of sense to me. And, you have to trust your pitchers in the bullpen. They were warming up Montgomery at one point. No Ottavino whatsoever. They were warming up Holder at one point. They didn't even go to Ottavino. So I guess they don't trust him anymore, especially after the abysmal season he's had. I get it. But, he could provide you one solid inning rather than Loaisiga where, you have to bet on whether he's going to give you a solid outing. And that's the worry with the Yankees. It's not always going to be the offense lifting them up. It's going to be, whether the pitching does good, whether they do bad, whether, it's inconsistency from the starters, whether the bullpen has to back them up. It's going to be a lot of things going in the Rays series. And, if we barely beat the Indians, how are we going to beat the Rays? And I'm not trying to make negativity out of this because I'm very happy we moved on. Because a lot of people are saying, the Yankees are going to get eliminated by the Indians. Yeah, look what happened. And then, I was looking at a tweet last night. It was very funny. And this was a tweet from years ago, 2018. Yankees acquire Giovanni Urshela from the Blue Jays for cash considerations. Some guy says, another bad move by Cashman, get him the hell out of here. And I was so tempted to DM the guy on Twitter. I said, how do you like that now? So it's very funny. It's very funny how things work out. But really, those are my main points as far as, these two games go. It's going to be tough against the Rays. Obviously they had Snell pitch, they had Glasnow pitch. We'll see what comes of it. And, it's going to be best of 5? It's ALDS. So you're going to have one bullpen game from at least one of those teams. Kevin Cash and Aaron Boone both like their bullpens, both, analytical. So we'll see what's what. But Garrett Cole really impressed me with the first game. Probably the best outing of the season for him. And Tanaka, it was down. I'm not saying that, he was just flat out horrible. The rain delay kind of, shifted his vision and his mental state a little bit. So you have to think about that. But for finally recapping this, would I take him over Paxton? Absolutely. Still bring Tanaka back. I don't care. Bring Tanaka back. I think he could, in the next series, if he does get the opportunity, I think he could revive himself. That's the way I believe about it. But unfortunately, we have to shift topics now and actually talk about the freaking Giants. They play the Rams on Sunday. So does this good luck for the Yankees transfer to the Giants? Hopefully, but I'm not getting my hopes up, even though I just said hopefully. I'm not getting my hopes up because Rams are one of the best offenses in the league, especially with Jared Goff and 2 of the targets. And, the Giants have a defense where they can be good, but also their secondary can let up at a couple of points in time. So let's take a look at the preview, shall we? So I always start off with my stock up, stock down. This week, the candidates are for stock up, it's going to be Leonard Williams, B.J. Hill, Blake Martinez, Dalvin Tomlinson, and James Bradbury. Bradbury, another solid game. B.J. Hill racking up a couple of tackles and some stops. Leonard Williams doing the same. They actually put out B.J. Hill in coverage at one point. That caused an incompletion on Kendrick Bourne. That really mixes up a lot of, defenses in a way and also fools the offense because a lot of times when you put a pass rusher out in coverage, the quarterback won't see that, and they'll throw it, and it'll get intercepted. But that was good there by Patrick Graham. Unfortunately, the defense gave up 36 points, going to the offense's 9. But stock down, Devontae Downs, Isaac Yiadom, Will Hernandez, Darnay Holmes, Nick Gates. Devontae Downs, again, I'm going to say this, for the 90,000th time, Devontae Downs has not impressed me in the couple of snaps that he's played. Not at all, not in the slightest. I don't know why he's still here in a case. I don't know why or what the coaching staff saw in him. For Isaac Yiadom, same thing. I wrote an article. It's about to be published in a couple of days or it's at least on the website of Last Word on Football. It's part of the site Last Word on Sports. Michael Kovacs owns the site. And it's about why the Giants should bring back Ross Cockrell. It will stabilize the secondary, and I'm going to get to that Holmes thing in a minute. It's going to give Holmes, a lot of time or a decent amount of time to develop because they're throwing him right in the fire, and he's one of the worst cornerbacks in the NFL according to a lot of, analytic departments and next-gen stats and whatever. He hasn't been good. And if you look at his stats on ProFootballReference.com, you can say, okay, just about decent stats. But the run game has been horrible when he's, had to at least defend it. Again, missed an open field tackle against Benny Snell. That can't happen. Again, good corner in college. Does he make that transition? The Giants have to at least, help him out there. I'm not saying spend all the money for next year. And, I'm not saying, don't save. But at the same time, you need help there. Don't put Yiadom out there because Yiadom's just horrible. I don't even need to discuss him. He gets beat on a lot of routes, and it's just horrible. You don't even need to watch the tape again to know he's horrible. Nick Gates regressed after last week, especially, facing a tough defensive line. The run blocking, again, was atrocious, again. And Will Hernandez, he got bullied by Javon Kinlaw, and couldn't initiate enough double team blocks. Again, film requires a lot of studies for that. You can't just say, I'm going to look at PFF grades. No, that's not going to do it. But you also need to listen to a lot of people who, do the analytics or at least do the film breakdowns like Giants fans and Bobby Skinner and all the other guys and see what's wrong with Will Hernandez. A lot of people have confidence in him. A lot of people don't. Especially, it's your third year and, you're sitting next to a new center and a rookie left tackle. You have to be the anchor of the left side in a way because you're the veteran. So that's where that comes from. The injury report. So Jabril Peppers did not practice. Adrian Colbert has a quad injury. Brandon Williams, groin injury. Julian Love, ankle injury. So Julian Love, we'll see what we'll see what his story is. Jabril Peppers is likely not playing on Sunday. And I also said on my Twitter, I said, look, the Giants need to go out there and get a safety in free agency if this ankle injury is more aggressive than we think it is. You can't just have Nate Ebner playing out there and Ryan playing on only a couple of snaps. You have to, figure something out because you're not putting a special teamer in the secondary for the 90th time. It's like putting Matt Slater at wide receiver. It just doesn't work. And a lot of people recognize it. I'm going to say this for the 90th time. We get it. Play the players to their strengths. Yeah, play him to his strength. That's called special teams. Brandon Williams, I'm not even concerned with him at this point. They actually put him on injured reserve. Mondre Harper took his spot, so we'll see what happens there. He might as well just be cut because it's not like he did anything as far as defense this season. Special teams, he did have one penalty against the Bears where he stepped out of bounds and touched the ball first at like the 5-yard line, and it was a touchback plus 5 yards. So that's called illegal touching, I believe, at least when he's out of bounds. But one thing to remark, and I have my confidence in Andrew Thomas, but this stat is really, 13 pressures in 3 games. Bobby Hart has more. Bobby Hart, former right tackle of the Giants, right tackle of the Bengals now, and Bobby Hart leads the NFL in pressures given up. Thomas is second. So, people are going to come out with, they should have started him at right tackle. They should have done this. They should have done that. You know what? At this point in the game, you don't switch him to right tackle. You just keep him at left tackle. And we're going to see this. It's not like we didn't expect, struggles. Everybody's going to struggle at some point, whether you're a vet, whether you're a rookie. Especially with Andrew Thomas, 4th overall pick at left tackle to be franchise left tackle. Get your struggles out now, and then the next year, you could work on being one of the best left tackles in the game because you're 4th overall. That's your expectation. But let's go to the statistics. I know everybody overrides it and says, statistics are often, overridden and people don't watch enough film. You're right. But let's go over them anyway. So the Rams, their offense statistics, total yards and yards per game, they're third with 1,349 and 449.7 yards per game. Passing yards per game, they are 7th with 279.3. With rushing yards per game, Darrell Henderson, one of the running backs in the backfield, is ranked first by Pro Football Focus. Rushing yards per game, 170.3. Points per game, 29.7. Now look at the defense, which is about middle of the pack. Yards per game, 18th, 372.7. They lost to the Bills last week, which was their first loss after losing to two NFC East opponents. Passing yards per game, 21st, 253.3. Rushing yards per game, they're 18th, 119.3. And points per game, they're 13th with 23.7. Take a look at the Giants as well. Their offensive rankings here, yards per game, 272.3, that's 31st. Passing yards per game, 215.7, that's 26th. 32nd in rushing yards per game, 56.7. And points per game, which is 12.7. Obviously, most of those rushing yards coming off of Daniel Jones because they have not found a way to run the football other than the QB. Now look at the defense, who got obliterated last week in the first 2 weeks, wasn't as bad. So total yards per game, 13th with 357.7. Passing yards per game, 10th, 234.7. Running yards per game, 20th, 124. That's the one thing they did improve on last week. 2.7 yards per carry, which is really good, even though the 49ers seem to spread the ball more among running backs. They had McKinnon, they had IU coming out of the backfield, who actually is a wide receiver, and they also had Jeff Wilson as well, and they also had that one guy out of Baylor, the undrafted free agent as well. And for points per game, 26.3. That's ranked 17th in the league. So, he's the win. And number one, everybody's going to say the same thing. Stop Aaron Donald. He already has 9 pressures on the season, 11 tackles, 3 sacks, 4 QB knockdowns, and 2 quarterback hurries. Again, first best defensive lineman in the game. And if Cam Fleming can't handle him, if Zeitler can't handle him, if Nick Gates can't handle him, it's going to be tough. It really is. It's, tough is not even the word. Tough is not even the word. if they shift him left side, Hernandez got bullied by Javon Kinlaw last week, so, expectations are going to be a lot lower for Will Hernandez, especially. I don't see Donald coming off the edge. He's going to be coming through the middle. Number 2, explosive offense, so you're going to need to cover Robert Woods and Cooper Kupp. Now, take a look at their stats on the season real quick. Give me 1 second. For Cooper Kupp, so far this season, he has 18 receptions, 228 yards. He also has, let's see how many touchdowns. He's got targeted 21 times, and he also has 1 touchdown coming from the Buffalo Bills game. The other target that they do have as well is Robert Woods. He got his touchdown last game as well. So far on the season, he's put up 193 yards on 13 receptions, got targeted 19 times. So that's going to be an offense, again, that's just looking at stats, but, all the people are going to come out and say, even if you're in a fantasy league, these 2 wide receivers are going to be all over the Giants. I have confidence in Bradbury. He's going to lock down, whoever, or at least, put a solid game up against, maybe Kupp or Woods or whoever he's trailing. But that corner 2 position, Isaac Yiadom or Corey Ballantyne, it's not going to be pretty. It's not going to be pretty. And if you take a look at Jared Goff's stats real quick here, so far, and coming out from last game, he had 2 touchdowns, 1 interception, and against the Eagles defense, he had 3 touchdowns and had 1 interception against Dallas. And, he's been a solid quarterback this year. So his ratio, or at least, touchdowns to interceptions would be 5-2, which is really good to start this season, especially for him, because he needs a year like 2018 again, especially with that offense. Todd Gurley's not there anymore. The running game is supporting them. The offensive line is better, compared to last year. They're trying to get to that 2018 form again and actually try to win the Super Bowl, try to make the playoffs. So, besides those guys, also watch out for Jalen Ramsey. Everybody's thinking, 2018 we destroyed him. Yeah, different quarterback, different wide receiver. We don't have Odell Beckham no more. We don't. And we don't have a big play wide receiver. Slayton, everybody wishes he was that, but the last 2 games he has shown he is not there yet, or not that at all. Golden Tate, he's undersized as a wide receiver. He's not going to be making those big plays like OBJ was against Jaguars. I'm sorry. It's not where that is. For Ramsey this season, he's given up 1 touchdown, but has allowed a 57.9 completion percentage, 97 total yards, 11 completions on 19 targets, and a 81.9 passer rating, which is pretty good, and 8.8 yards per completion, which isn't that bad as well. Considering how many yards he's given up, that's in the low ranks. That's actually about maybe as much as Darnay Holmes has given up. But again, 2 different players. One's dynamic corner, one's a rookie corner that's starting to struggle. So those are really my main points as far as this game goes. As I said, will the good luck carry from the Yankees to the Giants? I don't think so. Hopefully it does. I would like to have a victory Monday sometime soon. But something I also found really odd is that the Giants are actually staying in California, for Monday morning. And then they're going to have lunch and they're going to leave. So that's really odd. I don't know what they're going to do Monday, but I guess they're going to, have their first practice getting ready for the Week 5 opponent, which is Dallas Cowboys on Sunday. That's the late game for the Fox, in like a week and a half. So we'll see where that comes out of. But, it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting. This is the first time we're playing in Los Angeles since 1994, and we lost in Los Angeles last time by a score 17-10. That was 1994. That was, 26 years ago, I'm going to say? Yeah, I'm right about that. Yeah, I am right about that, actually. So, it's been a long time, and they played in October as well. So I can't say that, other ones, debate, the weather's getting hotter and whatnot. We'll see what the weather's like, but they are playing in a new stadium, so it's going to be very, very interesting, and we'll see. We'll see. And, someone else was calling, I think it was the NFLPA president, calling, let's, natural grass. Yeah, stop with that. MetLife, as long as they meet to the standards of the NFL when it comes to turf, fine. Who got injured last week for the 49ers? I think it was just Emmanuel Mosley. Jordan Reed also got injured. So, injuries are going to happen. And, it just happens to be the MetLife turf because it's new. Yeah, all right, bud. Yeah, how much of a mess was Candlestick Park for so many years? Anyway, that's the end of the episode. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for listening. Much more energetic here because the Yankees win. Support us on social media, Twitter, Instagram at Big Blue in the Bronx. Also, shout out to my guys at the Four Line Podcast, Brandon and CJ. You can catch them whenever they put out their podcast. They're also live on Sportscaster on occasion when it comes to the Yankee games. Also, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Get notifications when I do pregame recaps, live streams, and also the podcast episodes. Thank you guys for supporting, and we will see you on Sunday and then the podcast on Tuesday.